Today we're gonna do a review of the Stash Packable 4-liter sling. In this video, I'm gonna take my experience of reviewing 500 plus of the world's best bags and slings, and we're gonna tear this thing apart. We're gonna pack it out. I'm gonna give you my honest pros and cons. I'm gonna tell you if it's worth the price, and you're gonna wanna stick around to the end of the video, because if you're not quite sure that this is the packable sling for your needs, then I'll make some alternative suggestions, like I said, at the end, because here at Nomads Nation, our goal isn't just to sell you this sling. I just want you to find the best bag for whatever it is that you need. Okay, let's talk about the gist of the Pakt Stash Packable Sling 4-liter. Pakt is a US-based company known for making really great travel gear. Their travel duffel was iconic and changed the game. And then their travel backpack, which they collaborated with popular bag reviewer Chase Reeves on, also blew up the bag world. And they got their new lightweight Aero backpack. They make really good stuff. And this packable sling is a part of a new collection of lightweight bags that are meant to go into your larger pack and then becomes your day bag when you actually get to your destination. Let's talk about some of the bag's top features. Most noticeably is going to be its lightweight, malleable, and as the name suggests, highly stashable build. We've got a quick access front pocket, a main compartment with a decent amount of organization, including a magnetic back sleeve, a top handle, and a really nice harness system that allows the sling to be worn either in crossbody or in hip mode, AKA a fanny pack. But I'm gonna have some strong opinions a little bit later in the review about which style of wear I think is better. The Stash Packable Sling currently comes in 4 color options. This one is Mojave, and it's also important to note that the internal colors will vary depending on what external color you get as well. Now this sling is advertised at 4 liters capacity, which I think it feels a little bit tighter. Let's test it. Fully packed out, main compartment. We're coming in just under 3 liters. So if it is 4 liters, it's a very tight 4 liters. And if you're interested in learning more about sling capacity, we actually measure the capacity of some of the world's most popular slings, and I've gone ahead and linked that video above. This is the sling when it's empty, and this is the sling when it's fully packed out and worn on the Nomads Nation team. For reference, I'm 5'8", and our media manager, Margaret, is 5'2". And don't worry, I'm gonna pack the sling out throughout this entire review so you can see exactly what it fits. All Pakt bags are covered by a lifetime warranty against manufacturing defects. And for all that, this sling runs around 60 USD. Now, if at any point during this review you think that's a really great price and you are debating picking one up, or you wanna find out more information, we highly suggest doing so with the first link in the description below. Reason being, that link makes sure that you get the best price, and we oftentimes have discount codes, especially for Pakt. But that link also helps to support the Nomads Nation YouTube channel and team, so we can keep making the best bag reviews on the web. Thank you very much. All right, let's talk about the outside of the Pakt Stash Packable Sling 4-liter. Starting with the look, Pakt is cool because in a world of modern techie bags, Pakt keeps it kind of old school. They're like, yo, we're gonna pay homage to that traditional hiker sort of backpacker aesthetic that doesn't take itself too seriously, but also is more elevated than your typical Osprey pack. And a lot of that has to do with the accents that Pakt uses, but also this primary fabric, which this is a rip-stop nylon. The website doesn't give a lot of information about this fabric, but it's sort of like a crinkle nylon that you may have seen on a Air Go backpack, mixed with a ripstop nylon, and it gives the bag just a really casual, but still, like I said, elevated feel. This is definitely not a cheap fabric. But one recurring thing that I have a problem with Pakt bags is that they always feel slightly overpriced for what you're getting. And as to where this fabric does feel nice, it's not like some gourmet as to where you're like, dude, 60 bucks, I'm cool with that. With Pakt, you're always on that edge. You're just am I getting ultimate value for this? But granted, you're not just paying for materials with a higher price point, something like this. There's a lot of functional versatility as well. We'll talk about that in a sec. One last note on the fabric, it's gonna be quite abrasion resistant, tear resistant, and also have a bit of weather resistance as well. Pakt's branding right here at the bottom, low key, much appreciated. Also gotta mention, I love this clay color. I think it's just nice. We live in a world of either black bags or olivey bags or maybe a navy, but a clay color like this, I just think it looks really clean. Now we're gonna talk about this front pocket and the main compartment in the next section. Let's talk about this top handle, which I am happy that it's there, I guess. It's one of those things that isn't a big thing for me. Some people absolutely require their sling to have a top handle like this. But I will say one nice thing is that if you want this to double up as a tech pouch, you can load this thing up put it in your travel bag, and then having a handle like this is just really convenient. Just makes it easier to grab and to find what you put where. Let me know what you think though about like handles on slings. This is something that you look for on your sling. Is it a deal breaker for you if it does or doesn't have it? Let me know what you think in the comments below. And then the last note to talk about in this section is going to be this strap and the overall harness system, which has some pros and some cons. On the pros side, I love this nylon webbing. This is basically the same fabric that would be used on a seatbelt, but a nice seatbelt, a really nice one. It's got a nice feel to it and a nice sheen. I also love that this buckle right here is not in the center of the strap. So therefore it's a little bit more out of the way when you're wearing it, whether you're in hip mode or crossbody mode. And what in God's name are you? Nifco? Margaret, you ever heard of Nifco before? Neither have I. Mysterious Nifco hardware maker, rocking the buckle. Seems like it's well made though. And the pro of this harness system is also that, like I said, it can be worn in 2 ways. And it's actually a really solid hip pack. Reason being, look at the way that these straps point, right? They go directly this way, east to west. So if you obviously wanna wear it in the front like this, it wraps around your waist as you would require it to be a good fanny pack. But we just did a little test run with our media manager, Margaret. Thank you for being our volunteer, Margaret. As to where the harness system is gonna have some cons as well. One of which is Margaret's a bit on the, let's say, skinnier side. You got a small waist, dude, oh my God. And this was not able to fit on her. So this means that if you have a waist that is smaller than like 51 cm, so actually let's call it 55 cm, that, like Margaret, it's just gonna slide right off you. Some other cons of the harness system is just again with the length. So I'm not as skinny as Margaret, but you can see I'm still like a semi-skinny dude, and this is fully loosened. So if you have a bit larger of a torso and chest, like you might not get the space that you need to wear this comfortably. And speaking of which, the longest the strap can go, we're looking at, let's call it 38 inches. And the final note about this sling harness system is that it's comfortable when being worn in crossbody mode, but it's not the most seamless sling experience. Like, it's good, don't get me wrong. It's a high quality, comfy sling, but it doesn't quite flow with the body as well. You got a little bit of like gappage happening here. A lot of modern slings might have an integration that really hugs the chest when worn in crossbody mode. But this, you're gonna get like a little bit of extra there, but they did that so then you actually have the versatility to wear it in hip mode, so you kind of get the best of both worlds. Overall though, because of the malleable nature of this sling, like I said, it's a really comfy wear. It's 4 liters, you don't have to overthink it, but if you are especially nitpicky, those are definitely some things you don't want to take into consideration. And also if you're a bit nitpicky and you're just really into gear in general, I gotta let you know that if you're enjoying this review, that here at Nomads Nation, we don't just do videos about gear and like doing bag reviews and sling reviews and backpack reviews and all that, but we also have the Nomads Nation newsletter. And in that newsletter, you can look at the Nomads Nation squad, like your reporters in the field. We're coming to your inbox and bringing you the top deals, the newest releases, limited edition drops, plus access to our exclusive discount codes and giveaways. So if you want to keep your finger on the pulse of what's happening in the world of EDC and travel gear, be sure to look for this globe emoji linked in the description below. I hope to see you in your inbox. Okay, let's talk about the inside of the Pakt stashable sling. These zippers, you better be YKK for 60 bucks. Oh yeah, we got YKK, thank God. You know what, holy crap guys, I'm just realizing something. We're late to the party. Because this sling can totally do something that I totally missed, that I missed for a reason. But as to where the sling can actually pack into itself, hence the name, right? And do one of these. But I skipped it for a reason, because I wanted to prove a point. That I just don't see the value in that. That's just me. I know some of y'all out there, you're very neat, organized, and OCD, and everything just needs to be perfectly stashed away at all points in time. But for me, like this versus this isn't enough of a difference that I'm gonna put that extra 7 seconds into it. But if it's important to you, the sling can pack into it. So, but let me know, like, is that like interesting to you? Is that a feature you'll actually use, or are you like me and you're just lazy as f and you're never gonna do that? Let me know in the comments below. In the front pocket, we have no organization. And then in the main compartment, we have the back sleeve and a zippered pocket here. That also has a key leash. Let's pack it out. You can see I got a bunch of gear here. Basically stuff that I might use when I get to my destination that I'm traveling to. And let's talk about big stuff first. For instance, Nintendo Switch. This is a case for Nintendo Switch. It's bigger than the Sling and the second Nintendo Switch, I think. The newer Nintendo Switch. I don't game, so I don't know what it's called. But that won't fit. But your typical size water bottle might, just depends on the size. This is a 24-ounce Columbia, and you can see actually that we are getting that in there very nice and sound. Same thing with maybe a small umbrella. Is this gonna squeeze in? I think we're gonna just make it. Oh yeah, for sure. That's why I like a sling at this size. It just gives you a bit more versatility as to what it can pack. But you're not gonna get your over-the-head headphones in there, not unless they fold. Oh, actually, I take it back. Sony XMH5s for the win. So let's just say we landed in Japan, because I'm going to Japan in a couple weeks and I cannot wait. But it's gonna be rainy in Japan, right? So I have an umbrella in the main compartment, charger for the phone in case it dies. I'm gonna throw my keys in this pocket here. You can connect it to the key leash. Love the use of this bold red in the interior too, as it helps to create a bit of a highlight effect, which just makes it easier to find what you put where in your bag. In the front, we can go ahead and throw our sunnies. And then in the back, we've got this sleeve here. Now here's the deal, I don't love this sleeve. And the reason is, like, you have to keep in mind, like with this sling, there's no structure to it, right? It's packable. It's not meant to have like a foundation. There's no foam in this thing. It's meant to just pack into itself. Versus compare it to, like, I don't know, a sling from Air or Alpaca. These slings have like a bit more foundation to it, as to where then the back side of the sling can really easily slide your phone in there and or your wallet, right? And another thing to note about this sling, no back pocket. For myself and a lot of people in this community, we love a good old fashioned zippered pocket right here on the back, because it's a perfect spot for your wallet. And it's a perfect spot because A, that like position is flat against your body, but B, because it's flat against your body, it's a bit more secure, right? It's less likely to get thieved. Barely got through that sentence, but we got there. So wallet's gonna have to go in this pocket here, and because of the flimsiness of the sling, it doesn't work super well, but it does kind of work. And then just giving you guys one last comfort test. Remember, it's a 4-liter sling. Don't overthink it. It totally gets the job done. The harness system strap is a 1-incher. So if this sling is packed out with some heavy gear, that's going to ensure that the strap's not like cutting into your body. And now that the bag's fully packed out, let's look at the dimensions. We've got a width of around 11 inches, a height of around 6 inches, and a fully packed out depth of around 5.5 inches. This is definitely a sling that, as you pack it out, can get bulky. All right, moving on. Let's talk about the overall pros and the cons of the Pakt Stash Packable Sling 4-liter. Pro number 1 is the versatility as to where it can be worn pretty well as a crossbody sling and as a hip fanny pack. Pro number 2 is going to be the high quality fabrics and materials that Pakt always offers. And pro number 3 is just how malleable it is. That can make a more comfortable wear, and it's just easier to pack it inside your bag. But on the flip side, all bags have cons, and con number 1 for this bag is the last pro. It might be so malleable that it's actually uncomfortable as to where like things can be in the sling and you feel it. There's like a lack of padding. Maybe that water bottle is like stabbing you in the ribs. Con number 2 is, while it's comfortable in crossbody mode, it's not the best crossbody fit that I've ever tested. And con number 3, for some people, the interior color, it does create a highlight effect, but it is a bit loud. Definitely a bit on the loud side. But if you're still here, there's a good chance that you've weighed the pros and the cons and you're still thinking about making a purchase, which, just a reminder, if so, we highly suggest doing with the first link in the description. That link just makes sure you get the best price, and if we have any discount codes, that's what they'll be. But if you're not quite sold, let's talk about some alternative sling suggestions that might better suit your needs. First up, if you're new to the channel, I highly suggest checking out our Nomads Nation leaderboard video. This is where myself and the whole Nomads Nation squad of gear nerds, we get in a room, talk about our favorite bags, and we pick those bags in different distinct bag categories. Therefore, you can just get an idea of what the best options are on the market from like different perspectives, because everyone likes different gear. I've gone ahead and linked that above. But if we're pretty close with this guy, you're looking for specifically a packable sling, here's 2 alternatives that might work out better for you. First up is gonna be the Matador Refraction sling. This is a great pick for you if you're looking for a packable sling, but you just need one that's a little bit smaller, a little bit more manageable, and you just totally dig that powder blue color. And alternative recommendation number 2 is going to be the Evergoods Civic Access Sling 2-liter. Great pick for you if you're digging this tan color and a sling that can do hip mode and chest mode, but it's got a lot more structure to it as to where it's a bit more of a comfortable wear. It just kind of functions differently. It's not gonna be as stashable, but it's definitely just got a little bit more like oomph to it. All 3 slings are awesome. They just kind of suit different purposes. So to see if those 2 alternatives fit your needs better, you can just go ahead and watch these videos here. If you got any questions about any bags, be sure to let me know in the comments below or in the Nomads Nation subreddit. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Aaron. This is Nomads Nation, and we'll catch you next time.